You're listening to Two Chunks and a Hunk. Movie musings for mostly everyone. And welcome to Two Chunks and a Hunk. My name is Jordan Wonders, and this week I'm your hunk.
I'm Doge, and they think I'm hiding in the chunks, watching, waiting to strike. I am the chunks.
I'm Carter, and I chunked you! I chunked you!
That was pretty good.
That was good. Can you do a Paul Dano?
I don't know. I haven't tried.
Did we not know that until right now?
That's
Well,
not.
that
Paul
was
Dano.
Colin Farrell, but
that was Colin Farrell. You're right.
Dang.
That was
Guess it
Colin
wasn't that
Farrell.
good.
embarrassing.
Colin Farrell inhabiting the body of Richard Kind.
Yes.
Yes.
Jordan, why are you inhabiting the body of a hunk?
There's a game.
Is Richard Kind, who was the voice of Bing Bong?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh no.
How much does Colin Farrell look like him?
A lot. Just by the way,
Oh.
is the answer. A lot. There's a game
Yeah.
taking over the social meds currently. It's
For
hot
kids
new
your
release.
age.
A little game called
Mine are talking about
Farmville.
local elections.
Well, the only social meds I'm on is the TikTok, and the TikTok is blowing up about Elden Ring, which I am playing. Are either of you playing it? I don't think so, right?
No.
Just checking. Just checking. Didn't know if you had the stones to step in to the ring, the Elden Ring.
No, I didn't want to get in there and try to mix things up with the tree sentinel.
He only knows that boss name because I just said it, by the way.
Yeah, don't give Doge so much credit. That
And
would
the reason
earn
I
him
said
reverence.
it, if you're playing Elden Ring, you know Tree Sentinel blocks your path right when you come out into the game. Today I beat him.
If you simply just alternate a combination of light and heavy attacks, you'll be able to dodge most of his branches whenever he strikes. You just have to learn his attack pattern.
You sound so dumb right now because he uses a halberd. He rides a horse, and the way I beat him was I got on my horse and rode around him in circles, hitting him with light, quick attacks every time I rode past.
So he's a tree?
He is not.
Use an axe, cut him down.
He isn't a tree. I don't know if
Doge,
you heard.
you sound like you would be good at this game. You should play it.
That's the
You
thing.
know so much.
It doesn't seem hard. Tree sentinel, axe, cut him down. What do you have? A stone sentinel, use a dynamite, blow him up. A water sentinel, use a straw, drink him up. It's easy. It's all so easy.
Podcast friends, this is the same person that bounced off Bloodborne when he hit Cleric Beast. Just throwing that
Because
out
there's not an elemental counter to cleric beast. What I'm going to go in there and be non-devout to this. I'm going to fall away from the faith. I'm going to commit apostasy to this cleric
guy
beast.
has never heard of using fire. Anyway, I also beat Margit the Fell Omen, the very first story boss.
That's right after Titus.
When I technically that's Philemon.
Titus and Philemon.
I'm
actually pretty sure it's Margaret Robbie.
Just once, I want to be the hunk with respect.
It really is. That should be on the bingo card.
Why won't you guys respect me for being good at my video game?
It is funny how much the Souls games are like Big Boy Zelda. It's like scary hard Zelda.
Conceptually, I think I would be really, really into it. I don't have the patience, the willingness to continually back myself up to the butt kicking machine. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there is a certain degree of masochism involved in playing these games where it's like you have to.
I like it when you play it and then tell me about it.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, that
right.
sounds cool. I like that. That's really cool.
You have to weirdly enjoy the feeling of like trying to see if you're strong enough to snap your controller in half. Like you have to weirdly enjoy the feeling of just being like,
creaky.
"Ah!" like so mad. Oh man, but it goes down pretty smooth. It goes down pretty smooth if I'm being honest with you.
I just have so much rage day to day.
Yeah, no, me too.
You know.
But it's good to take it out on fictional elder gods, essentially.
Yeah.
That sounds
So
like
George R. R. Martin did this, huh?
He wrote the finer points of the story, I believe.
Okay. Can I tell you,
He
feels a
finished
little
which is
bit.
interesting.
Yeah, that's shocking. Yeah, Brandon Sanderson really threw that gauntlet down to him, didn't he?
Yeah.
got him.
Anyway, that's not what we're talking about this week.
It isn't.
Surely.
It isn't what we're talking about this week because what we are talking about, we already spent way more time on Elden Ring than I intended in this episode. The thing we are talking about this week is the finale of our oh man. The finale of our Batman series. It is the standalone first movie of Matt Reeves' Batman trilogy known as The Batman.
Has a sequel and a sequel to that sequel officially been greenlit?
I don't think anything has officially been greenlit, but let's be real, it's
Okay.
happening.
Yeah, probably.
Let's be real. It is,
Cool.
in fact, happening. Before we jump in, Doge, would you give us a synopsis?
This week's IMDb synopsis has no author,
Dang it. I keep
which
hoping for
of
Nick.
course means that, like as in the old tales, this synopsis sprung fully formed from the head of Zeus, as did Athena.
Mhm.
Did that sound like lightning? That
It
sound
did.
like lightning.
Lightning
It sounded
makes no noise.
like you ran over Donald Duck's toes, honestly.
What if Donald Duck was mad at me, but like was trying to be cool about it?
When the Riddler, a sadistic serial killer, begins murdering key political figures in Gotham, Batman is forced to investigate the city's hidden corruption and question his family's involvement.
I respect how short that is.
I think that's a Warner Brothers job. I think that's insider trading.
WB.
Okay, I would like to now submit my guesses for your rankings.
Yes, I was about to say. I want you guys. Let's take a minute to guess how everybody feels about.
Are we
this
going to
movie.
guess the scientific cinema scale rating that everybody will give it, or the like general like vibe of their feelings?
Let's guess general vibe. I don't want to rob the scientific cinema scale of its potency.
Okay, my guess for Carter. Okay, my guess for Doge is loved it but hesitantly. My guess for Carter is just loved it.
Okay. My guess for Jordan, and I'm going to do it in experiences that I was imagining in the theater at certain points when I was there. What is Jordan doing? My guess for Jordan is he had some moments where I don't think he's set on this being like the best iteration of Batman, but I think you had moments where you were like, finally, they're getting this part of him right or something like that.
Okay.
And again, I know the least about this stuff. And Doge, I think, was cautiously optimistic. So I feel like you're both bi, to be honest. I don't know. This is fun.
I think that Carter is 100% in on this. I think it was just interesting enough. The characters were just multifaceted enough that Carter is absolutely 100% on board with this. I think that Jordan loved this movie, but there is going to be one thing about this movie that Jordan takes a very hard stance on and says, that's the worst thing. That's the worst version of that we've ever gotten. I don't know what that thing is, but that's the vibe I'm getting. I think there's going to be a thing that Jordan's like,
This is fun.
incredibly out on.
Interesting.
We should do this with new movies.
Yeah, I like, especially when we don't get to see them together, I guess,
Well,
right?
yeah, I guess so.
Well, I'm going to start our discussion with my super dump.
Yeah.
Wow.
Go. 3, 2, 1, go. Is this your hard stance?
I think you're going to be shocked here, Doge. I have only 2 negative things to say about this movie.
Ooh.
And I'm going to say them both now, although only one is my super dump. But I'm going to go stand in the heavy defender corner for the rest of this conversation, I think.
Cool.
The biggest thing I disliked about it was I'm gonna sum it up. It's kind of two things combined into one, but they have to do with each other. I'm gonna sum it up as Bruce
Can't wait.
Wayne.
Okay.
Not enough Bruce Wayne.
Okay.
Not a fan of skulky Bruce Wayne.
Emo Bruce.
Like,
You know what I
I'm
mean?
not a
Emo
huge
Bruce.
like emo Bruce recluse. Not recluse,
Yeah.
but like nobody gets me. Like I don't love that Bruce.
Nobody understands.
Yeah,
me.
I don't love that Bruce.
Something in the way. Yep.
Yeah.
And then that is my super dump and it's not even Pattinson's portrayal so much as it is the writing of like this like emo sad Bruce is weird.
How much
to
was
me.
his hair an influence on that, though? Right.
Oh, big time hair influence.
It's incredibly. I mean, that is almost like Kingdom Hearts hair.
I was just gonna say it feels
I
like
wanted
an
him to-
anime character.
Drive into the Batcave for the first time, and you can like faintly hear like, "Hey me tonight."
Very good. And then the other thing that I disliked was that we let go of our narration after the first scene and didn't bring it back until the very end. I feel like I would have loved an internal monologue for the whole movie.
Why not? It's
cool.
noir-y enough. It's
Yeah.
detective-y enough. I think we just keep the narration.
I agree.
I love that.
And I was looking for like it started and I was like, monologues. And then
Yeah.
it never came back until the end. So I wish that
What
there
a
was
great
more.
way to get to know him better. His head. You know what I'm saying?
Agreed.
Well, there was the
his
perfect
thoughts.
framing device for that too. That it's
a
like his
mystery.
log, the Batman log. Yeah.
I wish there was more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jordan, I think my super dump is clever. It's just a different way of basically saying yours.
Oh, okay.
So it's going to it'll be weird for me for it to come up later.
Okay.
Because I would have basically been agreeing with you. My super dump is Edward Cullen.
Okay.
Because the Bruce Wayne moments where he's just nobody gets him and he's a barely moving his mouth pouty boy.
Yeah.
I was like, man, this is unfortunate. This would have hit better for me personally if he was never Ed Cullen. And that feels unfair
Sure.
because, but if you're looking at popular culture, Batman and Twilight, I mean, Batman's further up there, but Twilight has a cult following.
True.
It's
These
had
two
a
things-
bit of a resurgence lately,
And
actually.
it doesn't help that like Arpad is not aging.
I
He looks
know.
as
Yeah.
young
Yeah.
as he did.
I know.
But yeah, though there were little moments that took me out because it took me to something else that was not nearly on.
I
Can
agree.
Can I tell
agree
you,
with
I honestly did not think of Edward Cullen a single time during my
Yeah.
movie experience.
I didn't think of Edward. I just got frustrated with the emo Bruce, but I see the Edward all over it now that you've specifically brought it up. I really
Well,
do.
it's just how
Yeah.
slowly he moves his head all the
Yeah.
time. How Edward did.
Yeah.
I could tell he smelt blood somewhere.
No.
This feels like, from a script perspective, it feels like we're kind of going back to the Batman 89 balance of Batman versus Bruce, because there is so much more Batman in
There's
this. than we've
almost no
gotten.
Bruce, honestly.
There is hardly any Bruce in this.
I could have
and
used more.
Yeah, I think that's one of the interesting things about this movie is that like it sort of does the thing that Batfleck did this well. Spider-Man Homecoming also did this, where it's like we know exactly all about this dude. We don't have to see his parents die again. We don't have to see him decide he wants to be a Batman.
Sure.
All of that stuff. But there is so much that's implied here. You know what I mean? Like that it is. I don't think it's possible for anyone who is a participant in the current zeitgeist to come to this with no knowledge of this is Batman. But I think if such a person did exist, they would be pretty lost.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I
this
understand
requires
the
a certain
desire
level
to
of
stay away
of-
from the origin story again. I really
Yeah.
do. I get that, but I'm with you in the sense that I think where I'm at is like, and this folds into kind of what I'm saying with the Bruce thing is like, yes, this is Batman and we know Batman, but who is this iteration? You know what I mean?
Right. I feel like we in particular really, really lean on Michael Caine to inform our Alfred here, because Andy Serkis has probably 3 scenes in this movie.
Oh, I disagree with the
And-
first part of your sentence. I don't think he's anything like the Michael Caine Alfred.
I don't think so either, but we lean on past incarnations. We lean on audience's general knowledge to infer things about the relationship between Bruce and Alfred, things about like we don't lay a ton of groundwork, I guess, for the characters here.
Yeah, before we get too far away from talking about how much Batman was in the Batman,
Right.
It made a lot of sense to me narratively, because I think are we to guess this is year 2?
Mm-hmm. It is year
of
2.
him being the Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah, we saw the journal. It was pretty blatant, I guess, right there. And it was, I was kind of thinking to me, even before the Riddler is saying, Edward is telling him in Arkham Asylum, I know this is you. This is you. Batman is you normal.
Mm-hmm.
Bruce Wayne is the act, which I always love the like back and forth between
it's very
that.
fun.
Yeah.
It feels like, much like when you're just trying to break the cognitive dissonance and just be as most comfortable as you can, it feels like the suit is his blanket right now. It feels like,
Yeah.
I think he's far more comfortable behind the mask right now. So that's why
Look, I don't want to complain about how
that's
much
how much he
Batman
wants to
there
do.
is. I only want to
Absolutely
complain about
not.
how little Bruce there is. And that brings me to, let's talk about the actual opening of our movie now that I've selfishly gotten my super dump out of the way immediately because it is the beginning of the
Both
movie.
of you guys have. I just got to put the rest of the episode on my back, I guess.
The opening of this movie
Not my
with
fault.
the Riddler watching the candidate for mayor, or no, the incumbent
The current mayor.
through his house and breathing so heavy through the binoculars. Absolutely terrifying. Riddler up in the loft with the incumbent mayor. Absolutely terrifying.
Yeah.
It is then later contrasted with Batman doing the same thing at Selina's house, like trying to figure out where this girl is. And how similar they are. There's a lot of parallels between who the Riddler is and who Batman is throughout this movie, hinted at most clearly by the Riddler himself. But then we get, and stop me if I get to something that you really want to stop down on, because I want to get to the best Batman to screen introduction of all time.
I completely agree with that.
The monologue
walking out
while
of the
all the criminals
Yeah.
are doing their crimes.
Yeah.
Look up and see the
Yeah.
bat signal and begin to panic thinking Batman could be anywhere right now.
Yeah, that was
Yep.
really
The monologue, the line I quoted in the beginning, they think I'm in the shadows. I am the shadows.
It's very good.
Ooh.
It's very Batman.
Ooh.
It's very Batman. And then the fight, I mean, I am trying not to be hyperbolic. I am trying to be a true, authentic, genuine me. I think that The Dark Knight is a better film than this. I think that this might be the best Batman movie. Hear me say that I've ever
That's
seen.
interesting.
I think, man, it's tough because I can't come to this as anything other than a super Batman fan.
Right, I know.
Like the things that are commonly, the complaints commonly like leveled against Batman as an idea, the whole like, man, that is so over the top and dark and broody, the I am the shadows, that's really stupid. I love
That's
that
the stuff I like about it, yeah.
like that's some of my favorite stuff about it. And I don't know, man. I cannot come to this with any sort of objective opinion.
I know.
I think I would agree with you. The Dark Knight is a much better movie than this.
I don't know that I would say
think
a
that
much better movie. I just think it's a better movie.
I think it's a better movie, and I think the characters in The Dark Knight are better because I think they're a little more fully rounded than
Sure.
these characters.
Yeah.
I think that's a better script than this.
For sure. I agree.
But I think this is a
better Batman experience. How about that? A better
I think this is a better Batman experience. Yeah, I'll co-sign that for sure.
Mm-hmm. This was my favorite. We talked about it a little bit, I think, maybe at Dark Knight Rises. It could have been sprinkled throughout a lot of our episodes of just how many kind of iterations we're getting of so many characters. And obviously, Batman, Alfred are the ones that are pretty consistent all the time. Commissioner Gordon, I think those are our big three that we see in every single movie. But I think this is my favorite Batman.
Yeah.
Like my super pump is that he's been now made. He is Freddy Krueger. He is Michael Myers.
Dude, that's what I said.
He is like, he's terrifying.
His
And it was
theme
like a
song
step-
is reminiscent of the Halloween theme in a way, with the
Yeah.
piano and the repeating line,
Yeah.
so that when he is stalking, and it's just doing that dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
It's like, oh no, what's he gonna
it
do?
was
It's
a
like
kid-
Jaws
yeah,
too.
100%.
It was akin to, and I don't even think we ever got it back this strongly as in the Nolan series, but when they're around the freighter, like storage units, when he's just kind of popping in and out and people are
Yes.
absolutely terrified.
Yep.
We
Swear to
grabbed,
me.
we grabbed that, but then the movies became so much more about the villains being the scariest part of it.
Right.
Yeah.
But the best thing is no one else can get into the ring with these lunatics but Batman.
Right.
And he needs to be terrifying.
Yep.
That's why it's scary when Edward Demasked is just kind of so glad to see his number. He loves this guy. Like that. That's when we can get to that obviously with a different character analysis. But the fact that Batman was Jaws in this movie is so wonderful.
And it's something with
it.
The soundtrack was almost my super pump because it is just so good. Michael Giacchino is unbelievable.
He does.
This is my favorite. My favorite.
He does everything.
This soundtrack is very good. If you haven't listened to I think Batman, Riddler, Catwoman, and Penguin all have their own essentially scores on
Riddler's
the soundtrack,
great.
And it's very, very good. Yeah, the Riddler's
It's Ave Maria reharmonized.
It's terrifying. It was almost the soundtrack, but the sound design with Batman, the heaviness of his steps when he would enter a room, and the way that he just kind of dissolved from the shadows.
Yes.
I had I don't know what it was. I think Matt Reeves feels like someone who tries to do a bunch of new. And Nolan does that the same way.
Sure.
And then obviously when new becomes your thing, that becomes like your calling card. But I don't know about I did have an issue with the soundtrack because while I get Edward Cullen vibes sometimes from the barely moving mouth of Bruce Wayne, I think it's Selena's song sounds like a James Bond love song. It sounds like when James is looking into the eyes of
Interesting.
A Bond girl or something. And so I was just kind of like, oh, you didn't have to do that. You can come up, you can be more creative than that. Feels like you just ripped from Bond. But
That's fair. I didn't get that vibe, but that is fair entirely.
oh, trust me, I don't think you got any bad vibes.
I got the two that I put off for sure.
Yeah.
But that's
I
about
have
it.
a prediction. I bet y'all come down. I bet I think you're still high.
Over
I
time.
bet
you
y'all
mean?
come down.
You think?
Yeah, probably. That's
I'm sure.
realistic.
But it is good. It is such a relief, right? This is the long breath out of being like, oh, they didn't blow it. Not
Yeah.
only did they not blow
Yes.
it was good.
You know
That's
what?
such a
I
good
think there's
feeling.
so much of that comes into this too. Is I have been saying for literal years now that I have lost all faith in DC, specifically Warner Brothers, actually, to make a good DC movie. Especially when it comes to Batman. I haven't seen the James Gunn Suicide Squad. I know that apparently it's great, but
It's good.
I have just
pretty fun.
I've been nothing but disappointed since every movie after the Man of Steel.
See, WB they need to just stop. I don't know why they're still trying to why are you trying to look at all like the MCU?
I know.
Yes, everybody knows we're both making superhero movies, but it doesn't mean you have to try and be that because I watched a trailer.
I think that's when DC succeeds the most.
Y'all didn't have a trailer before your movies, I found out. Jordan, is this correct?
That's correct.
There weren't trailers.
There were no trailers.
So one of the things that they did, which you might have seen before, I think it was a Super Bowl spot, is DC was like, hey, 2022 is the year for heroes. They give a tease of the new Aquaman. They give a tease of Black Adam. They give a tease of Flash. And then it also wrapped up in that, they put this movie. And yes,
doesn't
it is
fit.
Batman. It is your IP. But I'm just like, and I found myself being like, please don't.
Right.
Please don't have him stand with these people. There's a time for that. It's like, please don't put don't put Furiosa in a Fast and Furious movie. You
Right.
can make her Cypher. She can be Cypher. That's great.
Yeah.
But don't bring my George Miller into your whoever's making the next Michael Bay-ish, Fast and Furious type
I
thing.
agree. I agree. And
So-
and I think there is just so much baggage with the Batman movies of the last, decade since Rises.
It is. I have realized I feel like it is the collective cultural inheritance of the personality traits of said hero. I think just like with Peter Parker, how we just want to relate because he's just a normal guy. And then we know when you're doing it right? When you're just kind of going towards some of the charm of just being younger and ignorant. Like Batman just is a loner. Leave him alone.
Yeah, right.
It feels like it's metatextual. Hey, he doesn't want
Stop
to
touching
be here.
him. Yeah, right.
Don't touch me.
No, I think I agree.
Hey, me today.
And I, by the way, 100% acknowledge that I think my rating is touched by all of the things that we're mentioning.
This
I
is
think
normal.
that's why I say that. I can't come to this as anything other than a Batman fan who's been let down by Batman's movie appearances for over 10 years at this point.
I don't even count those, y'all. I get that, but I don't count those.
Yeah, they're really not bad. I mean, there's a reason they weren't part of our Batman series, and it's not just because we reviewed them earlier. We wouldn't even count them among the ranks of these movies
Sure.
because they're bad.
Yeah. What an interesting watch to watch a good series, a start to another series that is good after something was done really well.
I know.
Yeah.
That's so fun because it's like there's an unfairness to it, but it's like in whatever multiverse, like this couldn't have existed, I don't think, without something coming before. But when we look at things too narratively, like the environment, Gotham is New York, right? Are we just like we have Gotham Square Garden, like they're basically
it's New York.
And it looks exactly like the Empire State Building and things like that. How did y'all feel about that? Obviously, we have a much darker tone on everything.
Doesn't bother me.
I like this Gotham a lot. I mean, I think
This is
Nolan's
my
Gotham
favorite.
was pretty Chicago-y at points. And I really appreciate
This is
this.
the best
my favorite is
underworld of
still-
Gotham, I think. The best looking clubs and stuff.
It felt John Wick, didn't it?
It did, yeah.
My favorite Gotham is Burton's Gotham.
Sure.
But my which you might as well say like the animated series Gotham. But this is my favorite Wayne Manor.
Oh,
How
yeah.
wonderful.
It's the penthouse,
was
right?
this.
Yeah.
It's not the
Yeah,
manor. It's
I mean,
like his
But it
penthouse.
it also feels like the Notre Dame.
Yeah,
On the
totally.
inside. It's just so fun.
Totally.
Yeah.
Like shades of like Barcelona, and I was just like, oh my God,
Okay.
what a brooding place.
Here is I think a good idea to avoid Farleying over this movie. We have a lot of newcomers, and I think it would be good. I mean, it's a movie full of exclusively newcomers. I think it'd be good to rattle off some of those newcomers and sort of some general thoughts about them as we sort of scoot towards shout announcements. Let's talk Colin Farrell's Penguin just for a minute. The word I would use is unrecognizable.
yeah.
Yeah, what a strange decision to cast Colin Farrell in this role. That is like, if I could give a super it would be that for this movie. It's like, that is like, it's not really a plus or a minus for me, but like, what a strange decision to bury an actor under like mountains of prosthetics, make them completely unrecognizable.
Yeah, it's like if Michael Cera was Hercules.
Well, I mean, it's like
Tom Hardy was Bane. You know, it's like
no, I mean, I think Colin Farrell is doing a great job. Please do not get me wrong.
Oh yeah, he's fantastic.
The Penguin in this movie is a caricature. It's a really over the top performance.
Right.
Chelsea.
You're
had brought
telling
up
me
too-
Colin Farrell's the only one who can do that, and so we have to put him under these prosthetics?
I'm down with it.
Sounds like you don't like Colin Farrell. You don't want Colin Farrell to do well.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
That's all that sounds
That's a weird decision.
I'm down with it. It worked for me.
When he was being bad cop, bat-ish
very
cop.
funny.
That was so funny.
Yeah.
The humor in this movie was
that-
good too.
Well, I think Oswald needs to be under your skin, bullyish funny, and I think Colin
Yeah.
is great at that. So that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
But like when he has his ankles bound together a little bit and he was waddling,
Yes.
Chelsea leaned over. She's like a penguin. I was like,
Yep.
oh my God. Oh wait, by the way, sorry. I know it's Farleying stuff, but I don't want to forget this either. The weight of Batman's boots.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Hearing
Yeah.
him before you see him.
It almost sounds like he's wearing spurs.
Oh yeah, 100%. Chelsea said that too.
Yeah. Very good. Okay.
It's like, this is my time. You better get out of here, question man.
Jeffrey Wright's Lieutenant Gordon.
Jeffrey Wright's Lieutenant Gordon is great.
He's very
Oh
good.
man. Jeffrey Wright's a great choice for this role.
Carter disagrees because it's not
Carter.
Gary Oldman.
It took a while. No, it's not. Oof, I need to be careful because it is like my favorite human. That was the other iteration. But I think it was a build, and I think that's fun.
Okay.
And I wrote a note here, and this is my face because my face, like I'm kind of wincing a little bit, like, I don't know, because he starts as just feeling worthless. It feels like he is not contributing anything but being like, I'm his in to be in these areas, so he'll do my job for me. But then when he's specifically getting him out of the prison, when he's that scene that just is boiling up and just throws him against the window
Because you punched
And he's
him
like,
in the face.
He's like, this is not, that's good. And it felt like I didn't want Commissioner Gordon to just rest on simply being a good guy
Who lets Batman do what
And-
he wants to do.
and trustworthy. Like
Right.
I do want if we're ramping up, like because this is by far, and any review you read right now, whether they liked it or not, is talking about like this is Detective Batman. I'm seeing that all the time.
Absolutely.
Right? So if you're going to do that, at least give my boy some Watson vibes early. Like it took a bit before it could be like, you can even be here
Yeah.
to me.
Mm.
Now, I'm saying the character itself, of course, Jeffrey Wright is perfect for this.
Sure.
I think that's an instance where I come to this with too much metatextual knowledge to be able to take an objective stance there. You know what I mean? Like I come to this already knowing exactly who Jim Gordon is and the past 70 years of adventures he's had with Batman.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I can't say, I
tacking all
can't
of
tell
that
if
onto
he's
this one.
right. Exactly. I do think though, I mean the GCPD show on HBO Max that's set a year before this, it's likely going to be the big drug bust that we later find out in this movie was sort of a fake. My money's on Jim Gordon being kind of legitimized and credentialized throughout the course of that show.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fine.
I just wanted to respect
boo,
him quicker.
Boo prequels.
Yeah.
Boo prequels. But yeah, sure. Fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, his line where Batman says no guns, and he's like, "Yeah, man, that's like
Yeah,
Your
man, that's
thing.
your thing.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good line. Pretty good line." All right, Zoe Kravitz's Catwoman.
What an interesting career path for Zoe Kravitz because this is the second time she's played
Catwoman.
Yes.
I know.
How funny is that? Not Lego Batman's Catwoman we're talking about. We're talking about
Right.
the
Okay. Zoe Kravitz in
Catwoman.
live action or in Lego?
Yes.
The live action Zoe.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
She is a human touched by God on
Isn't she?
any category, because here's what she did too. Because I think so the top tier of like iconic characters within the Batman world, Batman, Joker, Catwoman, wouldn't you say she's like
Arguably, sure.
top 3?
I put Robin up there ahead of her
Really? I could
because of Burt Ward.
yeah.
Yeah.
So Zoe
Chris
walks
O'Donnell?
in. Not Chris. Zoe walks in and somehow like takes the best elements of those that acted Selena Kyle really well, and then the ones that looked best in the outfit, and then the ones that were the most like she just kind of beat everyone to me.
Sure.
I loved it. I think she was just now it's tough to like because Michelle Pfeiffer was on her own planet. But I certainly like Zoe Kravitz more as Catwoman, as Selena Kyle, than Anne Hathaway, I think.
I think this
think I would
iteration of
agree with that.
Catwoman illustrated the shortcomings of the Anne Hathaway Catwoman pretty
Yeah.
succinctly in that like my chief complaint with that was that why do I care about her? I just met her this movie and suddenly her story is it beginning, middled, and ended in one movie and it feels like it's taking too much space. And we did the same thing with Catwoman here.
Yeah.
But oh my goodness, she's so much better in this.
yeah.
Yes.
And
And the fighting, I mean, that's
Oh, I mean,
We'll get-
we could talk about
We'll get
our
to the- we'll
choreography
get to the
and
fight choreo
cinematography.
in
It's
just
all
a
another
minute.
level. Yeah.
But we got one more character to talk about. I would say to tack onto the Catwoman conversation. I just think that the biggest thing here is Catwoman had chemistry with Batman, which I think is fun and important.
legitimate chemistry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that element.
Yes.
And
Loved it.
when in a worse version of this, the last shot being Batman looking at Catwoman riding away, I would roll my eyes and say, "Are you kidding me?"
Yeah.
But because it was so believable, I was sad for Batman. I was like, "Oh man,
Yeah.
you're gonna miss out on
Very-
Catwoman. She's great.
Very long Halloween.
Very
Yeah.
long Halloween."
He was almost, were it not for stumbling upon this relationship with Selena Kyle, he was a throw of a bomb away from being completely alone.
Yeah.
Like if he had lost Alfred, he
Yeah.
had nobody. And so he at least gets to still hold on to some kind of hope.
Yeah.
Right? It was wild to see him smile a little bit
I know
at the end.
I know.
It was good.
The final character that I want to just do a brief overview of is Paul Dano's Riddler, and I don't know how you're brief about him, but man,
I liked him way more as out of his costume than when he's in his costume.
okay,
Like how if we're gonna do like Bruce Wayne and honestly he makes some similarities known to Batman. He feels like they're kind of the same. They wear the mask but I thought his strongest moments were in Arkham, and I wish we had seen more of that because I think there is a naturally eerie thing about Paul Dano's face.
I know. Poor Paul Dano.
And I wish
Poor Paul.
I wish that they would just stick with that, right? But you know what? I think having him in the mask for so long did help me differentiate because he felt creepy like he did in Prisoners.
Yeah.
You know? He is
poor
phenomenal.
fella. This
and
poor
he
fella.
understandably did a great job. And it looks like it's not the last that we'll see of him
Certainly hope
either.
not.
Seems
But he did
not
good.
to
The
be.
breathing. I always look for what do I assume was an actor's like quirk. I
Right.
think ever since
Yeah.
Jake Gyllenhaal manifested that a little bit more with like facial tics or something that he likes to do.
Mhm.
But I think it felt like a lot like Paul's breathing for Edward was
Yeah.
just kind of like this. Everything's going according to plan. How exciting is this kind of fangirling about his own murders?
Right.
Because it's all coming like the booms from when he's watching the vans blow up and kill the seawall. Like that's just crazy,
Yep.
which is what you needed it to be.
I think it's interesting that like with The Dark Knight, we presented the Joker as kind of like the biggest societal fear or kind of the ticking time bomb of sort of Western culture at that time, the anarchist, terrorist, like we can't understand the motive behind this violence, the chief fear during the 2008-ish period. And here we present Riddler as somebody who has been radicalized by an online community on what appears to be some sort of dark web kind of thing. And it's like, I don't know, the way that Batman,
Or is radicalizing
both.
maybe rather.
or maybe is the force that is radicalizing people in Gotham.
Radicalized
But, like,
by Batman.
The way that we present Batman as kind of standing in the gap between that sort of dark, unknown thing that we're afraid of, and then the order or the goodness, I guess. It's just, I don't know. It's interesting. I think a much better podcast than ours probably would have some really good things to say about that.
But instead, we're just going to make fart jokes.
But instead, we're going to be kind of goofy.
It is time to fart joke our way on into Shout Now. It's Shout Announcements. That's the part where we do Shout Announcements. It's the part.
Oh, there's art.
Shout Announcements.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. Love it. Who's up
It
first?
is you first.
That's what I thought. Just waiting to see if you guys would hold me to it. Hold me accountable, guys. You may have noticed that we've been watching every Batman movie. And if you're paying closer attention, you may have noticed that we're out of Batman movies now. A lesser podcast might say, that's it, no more episodes. But we are not that podcast. And you get to decide if you're excited or upset about that. But there comes a time in every podcast listener's life where they don't need to watch the latest, biggest, most bombastic, loudest movie, but they need to return to an old, comfy movie. Maybe slip it on, like your favorite sweater or a well-worn pair of jeans. And you just know that when that movie is wrapped around you, you can be you. You can be yourself, no matter what's going on in the outside world.
Amen.
We're going to bring you a brand new series that we're super excited about, featuring our 3 comfiest movies. And that series is called Chooser's Choice for the Soul. We are the choosers. These are our choices, and they are what warms our souls.
Mm-hmm.
Carter's week is up first. Carter, will you tell us what we're watching next week and why
Yes.
it warms your soul?
It is my literal most watched movie of my entire life. And it warms my soul without giving too much away. And that it's just there to just have fun. This is the friend that you always know it's going to be a great time. They are 10 for 10 when you go out, and they're just doing that wacky stuff they normally do. And then they've got some heart there. And you're like, man, that was poignant. I really appreciate you sharing that with me. Fifth Element.
Finally.
Is near and dear to my heart. It holds my favorite boy. It holds my uncle. There's just a lot of great things about it. A lot of great things ahead for Two Chunks if you are a member of the Patreon. For that $3 tier, you're about to get the Lego Batman movie,
Mm-hmm.
not to mention the several other bonus episodes that you can only have access to with that $3. You're also going to have a series soon, which I won't say just yet, in which you'll have the opportunity to vote.
Twice.
And anybody can vote. You can vote twice, just like the real government. When you pay, you can vote more.
Spicy.
And the $5 tier, it's not even a real thing. It's not even a real thing. The $5 tier like it's just, you just become a part of the community. I can't believe how it feels like every week somebody just joins. And how do y'all? It warms my heart a little bit.
It feels
To be like,
good.
hey, everybody, say hey to blank is on. We're like, oh, blank, what's up, man? And it is now running without us.
Mhm.
It does not need the three of us being active, and we try to be as much as off.
In
as we
fact, I
possibly
feel
can.
like the three of us are the three least interesting people on our Discord.
It feels
I
that
agree.
way. And that's just $5 a month. If you are a couple that love our show, you don't have to both spend the $5 if you don't want. If you're trying to wrestle between who's it going to be, just pick one, and then you both can, you can put the mask on. We're putting masks on this episode. You can just act like them, come in, have your opinions, do whatever you want.
Catfish us,
$5.
please.
Make a joint-
Carter wants you to
make a joint
catfish us.
Discord
Please
account.
catfish us.
Just do that.
You could be Darren and Stacy Rodriguez, the Discord account.
Those are always my least favorite players in the circle, though, when it's two people. That does suck.
I
feel like
love that every time. That you're crazy.
No,
for
that sucks.
You're crazy for
because
that.
they got somebody to bounce ideas. They got somebody to bounce ideas
That's why
off
it's the
of. That's not
best, 'cause
fair.
they're two losers that get to come back and try it
But
again.
you also have somebody that can talk you out of something.
Right. That's what I'm saying. That's not fair.
No, I love it.
No.
I love it. You're crazy.
You can get talked out of something you should be doing.
Listen, I know you love this. I know you love it. I can feel that you love it. So subscribe to it. Prove it. Prove your love with action. Subscribe today. And while you're there, it's very easy to rate and review right there. It takes you max
Spotify,
30
iTunes.
seconds in total to subscribe, rate, and review. And then once you finish that up, you got 30 seconds left in that minute that you just promised me. I heard you promise it. In that 30 seconds, why don't you hit the share button on this episode and send it to a friend that you know watched The Batman? Let them hear what we have to say. It's very good or bad, depending on how they and you feel about it, and us. And that's as straightforward as I know how to be, Doesn't get any simpler. Home stretch.
I was already podcasting and you just started talking.
Yeah, I do that. That's sort of what podcasting is, though.
What's the difference between talking and podcast?
Microphone.
When I podcast, I talk like this. And when I'm just talking to you guys, I talk like this.
Talk like this.
May I super pump?
Yes.
Please.
And it's mostly just because I missed the chance to do it earlier. I think that Robert Pattinson is my favorite Batman.
Yeah.
I love that.
And I was not expecting to
I
come
love
out of
that.
this movie with that feeling.
Yeah.
Guys,
I am-
He's a good actor.
I know he's a good actor. His Batman to me is like, I was just not I don't know why I wasn't.
He's the
I just
Batman.
wasn't expecting it. It really is. There's something about like his physicality, his presence on set. And then that is not a descriptor I thought I would ever apply to Cedric Diggory, but I don't know, guys. He's just like, he absolutely is Batman. Even though when he's wearing the cowl, his head does look like a light bulb. It is shaped a bit like a light bulb, but he is such a good Batman.
Yeah.
Holy moly. It's great.
This boy gets to kind of be in all of the biggest cultural phenomena.
He does.
I know.
For real. For real.
Way to go, Rob.
Let's talk one of the biggest elements of Batman, which is fighting. Can we talk cinematography? Or I'm sorry, choreography.
Hands down.
Fight choreography.
It's
Oh
never
my
been
gosh.
this
Yeah, it's the best it's
It's
ever
the
been.
best,
Easily.
right?
good.
Yeah.
Never been this
It's
good.
aggressive.
Yeah.
It's fast. But it's also believable. I didn't see a whole lot of stunts
He's
that stretched imagination here.
All it took was bad guy shoot gun at him. That's all it takes. Just people to shoot him.
That's true.
Nobody is shooting him. In all of the Nolan movies, people just don't. You just happen to come across a bunch of thugs that these modern times, we can only find machetes and bats. It's like,
It's a great point.
like these people were, and I mean, he's taking massive rounds to the chest. And like, I just want to see more of the scars and stuff. There's so much imagery too. It was so fun. But yeah, Selena is like just using her legs most of the time, I think.
Yeah,
I
she's
love the
very
choreography.
kick forward. Very heavy in the kick factory over there.
Yeah, yeah. Him in the hall, so daredevil.
Him in the hall is very daredevil. Him
lit only
I'm
by
trying
the
to find-
gunshots.
I'm trying to find our fight choreographer, and I can't find it on IMDb. This is another instance of this website letting me down.
Him underneath the subway rescuing the man at the beginning of the movie was very good. The fight scene on the scaffolding in Gotham Square Garden, before and after the adrenaline shot, is just so. They did a good job
so
balancing the he's really fast, but it sounds like he hits like a truck.
Yeah. The guy sitting
So
next to
good.
me at our showing was speculating that could have been venom that Batman injected into himself.
Oh, like Bane's venom.
Like Bane's venom, which maybe.
Me no thinky so.
Me no thinky either, although it was fluorescent green.
It was that.
Which feels like a weird choice to make adrenaline fluorescent green if you're not going to say that this might be venom. So
That's true.
who knows?
That's true. I'm gonna go with doubt it, but that's
I'm also going to go with
that's
doubt
a very
it, but
valid guess. I'll tell to that man's credit next to you. That's a very valid guess, as valid as anything else at this point. Because what else do we know? You know,
Did this feel like the most fearless Batman? He's just walking into clubs and
yeah, I'm with you.
he's in rooms with cops.
Can I use a different
He's
word?
not avoiding anything. Yeah.
Reckless, perhaps.
Sure.
This felt
Yeah, he does exhibit legitimate fear in this.
Confident.
Talks about he's been that scared in a long
this
time.
this feels like the
Yeah,
Batman
confident,
when he
reckless.
knocks on the door and fights the twins. That whole scene of just like, no, I'm coming in. So let's go ahead and do this right
and
now.
that he gets to say, "Do you know who I
Yeah.
am?" as Batman and as
Hey,
Bruce Wayne.
boys, that's a 3-beat. We haven't had a 3-beat watch in a while, but that's a 3-beat for sure because we get the first one, establish the pattern of Batman. Do you know who I am? And he beats him up. The second instance is Bruce Wayne himself showing up. Do you know who I am? And the third instance, we subvert our established pattern. Batman knocks on the door. Uh-oh, we don't know where he is. We go out and look for him, and we get got from the shadows.
Bam,
It's pretty good.
bam.
3-beat,
What
baby.
if Got was one of us?
What
you know?
if?
You know?
What if the scenes in Penguin's Club were very cool? Because I do think that something that has been missing from Batman live action movies is this element of not an uneasy truce between Batman and the crime families necessarily, but like a coexistence that has to happen where it can't just be like fight on sight every time Batman sees Penguin, every time like somebody at the club sees
Right.
Batman. Like the fact that he can walk through in costume and nobody's like, who's the bat freak? Like that he can just come in and be like, Batman.
Get the bat.
Right. Yeah. Like
Somebody throw the bat out the door.
it's the same thing with like Batman's being welcomed into crime scenes where it's like, this man is out of place, but a welcome part of this situation. And I think that's something that we've lacked before is like Batman must, in order to have personal relationships with some of his villains, must have sit down, non-threatening conversations with them occasionally.
Yeah. How'd y'all feel about the Bat tech?
Oh, I liked it.
I thought it was great. I liked it.
It felt
I liked
really
it very
gritty.
much.
Yeah. Batmobile. How'd we feel about the
Dude,
Bat?
I liked it.
Mobile.
I thought it was pretty cool. Being a muscle
think
car, I
old-
thought that was very cool.
Old Bruce Toretto would have done that.
Yeah, he was riding
Right.
for his Bat family for
Right.
sure. The car chase where he chases Penguin is the closest thing to a car chase horror movie I've seen ever. I've never seen Christine, but other than that, this felt like a car chase horror. It felt like if Michael Myers was driving a car chasing somebody.
If Michael Myers was Lightning McQueen, is what I'm hearing you say.
Yeah,
Oh my
it's like dun,
goodness.
dun, dun,
Yes,
dun,
that's
dun,
exactly
dun,
it.
dun, 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 ka-chow, 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 ka-chow.
I thought you were about to sing "Life Is a Highway." over
That
there,
would have
which
been
would've
better.
worked as
That
well.
would have been better.
I do want to pump Greg Fraser, our cinematographer
Oh my
here.
goodness.
It stands out to me a lot here in this car chase. The way that this is framed and the way that it's shot is absolutely fantastic.
Gorgeous.
But overall,
Immersive.
our cinematography work on this movie is just fantastic.
Let's talk about the volume a little
So
bit. Let's talk about our involvement of
Yeah.
the volume here.
We shot a lot of things on the volume. The sunrise over Gotham was shot on the volume. The
cool.
big LED stage that we created for the Mandalorian.
Do you think they got charged a premium for that since they are not Disney?
Absolutely, Disney rinsed that stuff out at a high cost for sure. But it looks so good, right?
looks
That's so much
really
better than a
awesome.
green screen. You can tell that that's not green screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the volume is currently, and I think will continue to change how we shoot fictional locations.
Absolutely. That is a complete game changer.
Yeah, it's going to make the green screen feels so silly and archaic. Like, do you imagine looking back through like film history and be like, they had to do this?
Yeah.
Talk to
They added it later.
Yeah.
Where were the LED screens?
What?
Yeah, they're
What are they interacting with? Their imagination?
the shots on the volume are great. The cinematography in general is really great. The way that we play with like shadows and angles, specifically when it comes to Batman being on the hunt, is a lot of fun.
There's so many ways we play with shadows. There's one point when he is pushing the table in after Alfred's been really hurt. And as he's pushing it in, we see, I wonder if they were just like, hey, Rob, can you do that? Can we get a shot of that? Do you realize how much your shoulders look like wings when you do that? Like the way that the bones were coming through his back just felt so like gothic and lean. I like a leaner. He was lean enough and not too buff that it's like I was cool with it.
I agree.
This is the probably skinniest Batman we've had.
Yeah.
And I was wondering how that was going to translate as someone who can just beat the heck out of you.
Well, especially because Rob's quoted as saying like, yeah, I didn't really like work out or train for Batman. Really? Are you sure that was a good plan?
Turns out, yes, it was a good plan.
Turns out it worked out. It worked out
the suit
fine
does
with me.
most of the work for you.
Yeah.
I would
And
say.
you're fine.
Head to toe body armor doesn't really matter what your pecs look like underneath, I guess, right?
RDJ's
that's
getting
really heavy.
his pump on before he steps into the iron suit. No, thank you. I think.
Do you think he's getting his pump on before they just shoot a bunch of videos of his head in a green screen and then CG an iron robot in every
Would have
scene?
looked better if they shot his head in the volume instead. That's what a lot of people don't know. And that's why those movies are terrible. And I said it.
You're so bad. I'm a DC boy.
I've always been such a DC
Get outta
boy,
here.
dude. No, I think I want to spend just another moment with our cinematographer here, specifically talking about the jigsaw trap of the was it the DA that rolled up in his car with the like head bomb?
Yes.
That whole scene, the way it's shot,
Ooh.
the way that it's scored, the way that it is written is so unbelievably tense.
That scene was almost a super pump
It's a
for me.
good scene.
Yeah. Woo.
The tension is high. The nerves are high. Rob is at a 10 the whole time.
In terms of tension, I think the closest Batman we've gotten to that in terms of just like unbelievable tension.
2 bombs, 2 boats.
No, I was going to say the bomb in the stomach.
Oh, yeah.
In the prison in The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
When Joker finally escapes from prison.
Yeah, that
Or
is
from
a,
jail,
that
I
is
guess.
a good parallel. I'd like to super pump if that's okay with the class. It's a little long-winded, so bear with me.
No, usually so concise.
It starts with the young boy, the son of the former mayor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We get another 3-beat. We get Batman looking at the young boy who just lost his dad. We get Batman saving the young boy from the car. And then we get Batman rescuing the young boy and pulling him out from under the rubble in Gotham.
And it was like he's just putting a hand out. We don't know young
who it
boy's
is.
down there. That was
Although
such a
I'll tell you
big
this,
reveal.
I definitely knew whose hand he was going to grab. But that doesn't change anything for me because this is an element.
It's JG at Joseph Gordon-Levitt. He just pulled out.
He's like, by the way, my name's Robin. There is a moment in this movie where Bruce's narration at the very end says something that I think is so important. And Carter, here's your bingo card. This is the most correct any Batman movie has ever gotten this element of this character. And it is the turn, Batman's turn at the end when he says, you know what I realized? I changed the city in the way that I wanted to change the city with a completely different method than I planned for. Because I thought that, I'm butchering this because I don't have it in front of me, but he says, I thought that fear was the way that I was going to inspire change and protect the city. But it turns out what I have inspired and what I need to continue to inspire is hope, because that's what's going to change this city. And like, I'm watching it and I just wanted to start clapping, which I didn't because I'm not a freaking psychopath. But man, that's so good. That is animated series Batman. That is Kevin Conroy's spirit coming through this Batman, this idea that Batman can be scary to bad people and inspire hope and fearlessness in good people is everything I have wanted from this character and didn't really remember that I was missing until Batman decides to take a leap and cut that wire so that nobody dies, fall potentially to his death, who knows, and then get up and immediately. I think for me, it's the shot of a muddy Batman still there the next day pulling people out from the rubble. He's not back in his Batcave watching on the news going, whew, nobody caught me, thank goodness. He's still there, muddy and dirty, pulling people out and helping them get onto choppers. And when that woman on the stretcher grabbed his hand and was like, she was scared of going in the helicopter and wanted Batman to stay with her. That's crazy. That's just good writing. I don't know, man. For me, that is the cloudying moment for me that has ruined my ability to objectively view this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think this was the most dense with imagery of a Batman movie we've ever had. And one of those scenes that comes after he takes the boy's hand and now we start to, it's kind of brilliantly shot and manipulated that we have this, torch that he's set off that everyone's following him. And it just looks like rats.
Yeah, that shot from above.
That have just got done with the rat race. All of the shots from above when the whole point was there was a significant influence as to rats and his environment for Edward. And then for him to have those above shots of just them looking helpless, like just little bodies.
And then for him to be the one who carries the torch and guides their way out. It's really good. I really, really love the entire, I would say the specifically the last 20 minutes of this movie are some perfect Batman content for old Jordan.
Oh yeah.
Over here.
So devil's advocate for you.
Sure.
Does Batman not inspire that same kind of hope and the same kind of no, this is our city and it's not going to fall to, the criminal element or whatever? Does Batman not inspire that same kind of vibe to folks at the end of The Dark Knight? Or would you say that that's more like
because he's
Harvey
been
Dent?
villainized now.
I'm talking about before he's been villainized. On the boat when they choose not to blow each other up.
He definitely does. Here's the difference is I think this Batman has decided he's going to do it on purpose in that he wants people to feel hope when they see Batman. Whereas I think the other one was just a byproduct of what was happening. And I think I think especially when it comes to a character like Batman, mindset can make all the difference. I think that the Dark Knight,
he believed he could, so he did.
I think the Dark Knight Batman is inspiring hope because he's inspiring hope because he's saving a city. And I think that the Batman is doing the same thing, but has now seen. It's like when the monsters figure out that laughter is more powerful than screams.
They could do it on purpose now.
We can do it for real now.
Yeah, totally. Can I tell you something in the last 20 minutes of this movie that I feel is decidedly not perfect Batman content? Sure. I didn't love the Joker.
I didn't either.
I really didn't care for the Joker.
The laugh silhouette was really bad.
The laugh wasn't there for me. The silhouette that we got, the weird little head movements and stuff.
It looked like a marionette.
It looked like a marionette. It looked like Dane DeHaan's Green Goblin more than anything else to me. It really looked like Dane DeHaan's Green Goblin.
Interesting.
And I don't know, guys. We absolutely did not need that Joker.
I agree with that
scene at all.
No, he doesn't. I don't even think Joker needs to be in this series. Personally, it's too fresh, is it not?
I'm okay to give him a break.
13 years old.
Joker's won 2 Oscars in the last 15 years. It's like,
well, yeah. I mean, it's fresh. It's
polarizing.
It's no longer fresh off Heath Ledger, but it's fresh off Joaquin Phoenix winning an Oscar for that role.
I don't even count that because it's different to me, but I hear what you're saying.
It's fresh off Jared Leto mailing Wiimote covers to his co-stars.
He's damaged though. That's the thing you don't get about him.
He's so edgy, dude.
But he's got long hair and now he's in the desert and he's in 4x3 because Zack Snyder's a genius.
Zack shot that himself.
It's his backyard. You don't get it. COVID happened.
No, I just think it's Barry. It's our boy Barry Keoghan.
Which feels like
who I'm still stoked about, just not this particular delivery.
It's a good pick. The direction there, I think, was not great to me. But it's so hard, right? The Joker is one of those roles that no matter what, the first time I see it, no matter what, the first couple of frames that the new Joker is on screen, the gut reaction from everybody is, well, that's not the Joker.
That's not he.
That's not the Joker.
That's not Jack.
So
That doesn't sound like Mark.
time will tell, I guess. But
Sure.
yeah, super dump. Super dump is the inclusion of that
Oh,
Joker
really?
scene. Yeah, we did not need that at all. And to me, that is the WB of it all.
I agree with that 100%.
The like, we need you to tease a
Go
sequel.
ahead and
We
stick
need
the
to feed the
Joker in there, man.
forums. Yeah. Not a fan of that.
WB stands
scary.
for Wat Beeves, which is Matt
Wow.
Reeves' pen name.
Wow. He's been behind it the whole time.
I'm just kidding. I really appreciate Matt Reeves and the work he has done here.
Yeah, I was about to
really
say, I
like him a
love
lot.
Matt Reeves.
I think he's done a really great job, and I think he has taken on a Sisyphean task
Absolutely.
and has come out the other side no worse for wear, and perhaps even a bit better for it. So,
Yeah, maybe I have a higher opinion of him now than I did going in.
Matthew, thank you for your work. I appreciate you. That was great. It is
Matt,
time.
we know you listen.
I
Thank
had
you.
to.
It is time to rate this.
Well, I was just going to say, I recently went to the doctor to have a Sisyphean task drained because
Wow.
it was just, I could hardly see.
Hey, I'm glad you stopped the podcast for that one. We were moving right ahead, and I am so glad you stopped us.
I am your dog when he's taking trash that you're not totally sure where it came from. He's like, it doesn't matter where it came from. You're not supposed to do that. Way to go, Bear. I guess we can't leave yet because I've got to find out where the other parts are. Look what you did. And I'm just like looking down. I can't look
I
at you.
refuse. No eye contact.
You're trying not to laugh because it's kind of cute.
You don't want to encourage
Yeah.
it though. With the laughter, you don't want to make them think
don't
it's like
encourage it.
okay to do because
Well, I'm not going to give him a treat, or I'm not going to click the clicker or anything,
Sure,
Yeah.
it's like a middle ground. It is time to rate this movie using the scientific cinema scale, which utilizes science, and it is perfect. And it is as follows: the best thing we could ever say about a movie is own it, don't lend it, buy that poster. The next best thing is buy it. That's followed by rent it and then stream it. After that is forget it. And last, but certainly least, the worst thing we could ever say about a movie. God hath forsaken us.
I'll go. And I'm afraid of this rating. I don't like that I'm doing this because it means the movie won.
Sure.
And I don't want to have a reputation of, oh, those guys are just superhero fans. They love any superhero stuff. They're
I
so
encourage you to go
undiscerning.
listen to our Zack Snyder review if you're concerned about that.
I don't want to have a personal brand of that dude just loves Batman because he loves billionaires. But
Loves.
I'm going to buy the poster for the Batman. Guys, this is really good. It's a really good movie, and I'm planning my next trip to the cinema to see it again.
Oh, fun. Jordan?
Sure. Yeah. With full legal acknowledgement that with time, sleep, and distance, this could change in any direction, really. And there's every chance in the world that a sequel to this comes out so bad it makes me retroactively dislike this. That is possible. So this rating could be shifted by pain in the future. However, I choose to stand in my truth now. And my truth is that I am buying the poster for Matt Reeves as the Batman.
Doesn't that suck?
know.
Like, don't you feel a little bit like, man, I hate that
I
the
hate
movie
it
did
because
this to
it's
me.
DC, Warner Brothers specifically, who I am mad at.
I am feuding with DC right now.
If friendship ended with DC, Marvel is my best friend now. I am buying the poster. I really was kind of blown away by this. Especially as a Batman movie specifically, I think I would say like there's so much that goes into these ratings, and I stand by like The Dark Knight is a better film. It's a better movie, but as a Batman experience specifically, but even just the Batman movie, I'm buying the poster.
Yeah. I'm going to buy it. And it is because it was so good and I was so relieved that it was so good. But there were multiple things that I was like, I could use more of. I could have had this look a little bit differently. And I think for a lot of the movies that I buy the poster, it's kind of hard for me to think of things like, I think I don't really like the Gordon trajectory. I think he should have had his business figured out early on. I think should have had way more Andy Serkis. We certainly had room for it.
He was fantastic, by the way. I don't think we talked about him in our character roundup.
Yeah. I think Pattinson could use a little bit more of an Edward exercising. But it's so good. And I think too, I picture myself getting to the second installment. Maybe they fix the Joker and figure that out, or retroactively go back and say, we're not actually doing Joker. Let's do something that Matt Reeves might lean into in a new kind of way, or just something new altogether, and be like, oh, this is a buy the poster.
Sure, yeah. If they do the Dark Knight after the Batman Begins, yeah, sure. I think that's very possible.
I'm not trying to call my shot and say I'm going to like the next one.
What a nice experience it was to leave a movie theater watching a Batman movie and be like, yes.
More of that, please.
Yes, they did it.
Give me more of it, please.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah, I've thought about it a lot. It's been about 48 hours since I saw the movie, and I thought about it a lot. I really enjoyed it. I'm glad we all seem to enjoy this movie. I was a little nervous that I was going to come in hotter on it than maybe my friends. And it's nice. It's nice.
Than me. I mean, let's be honest, than me. I understand.
I was confident I would be higher on it than you were. And yet it seems that we are pretty dead even here. Which I think speaks more to Batman than it does to either of us.
I know. I think probably to Batman as an IP. That's to credit the character.
Like if this movie didn't fart and fall down, we'd be like, "This is a pretty good Batman movie." If I'm being honest with you,
it's honestly the best Batman movie I've ever seen.
Yeah, Carter's buy bolstered my poster more than he even knows, because he doesn't come with the same baggage that I do, and so the fact that he was like, "It's honestly a pretty good movie," I was like, "Right."
Yeah, when you're like, no,
Batman's
better
wingsuit
movie,
is cool,
but this was a better Batman. It's like, well, Carter, on behalf of the movie podcast, gives this a buy.
I'm not going to point fingers, but somebody forgot to stop their recording timer before the beep happened, and it was me. That timer does mean it's wrap up time, and here's my favorite way to wrap up an episode, and it's telling you, thanks for joining us on our Batman series. Please do join us on our next series beginning next week. Chooser's Choice for the Soul, beginning with Batman's. What? With Carter?
No.
You have given me the greatest.
Beginning with Bat Carter's Choice. The Fifth Element.
Hey, we promised no superheroes in this one. We've been kind of doing superheroes since Thanksgiving.
I'm done.
Yeah.
I don't.
No superheroes for a little bit from us.
I don't want to talk about superheroes for a minute. Very excited about this next series. It's one that I've been, we've kind of been like mulling over for a while, and I think it's going to be really interesting and a nice little insight into the psyche.
You can say what it's called. You don't have to like dance.
I did already. I did like maybe a minute ago.
He called
did you?
That, yeah.
No.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't doing the thing.
It's me talking.
Doge, it's when you were playing Elden Ring. Is when.
When I was just defeating the Tree Sentinel really quick. He's so easy.
To end today's episode, I'd like for each of us to say our name and one nice thing about Jordan. For Two Chunks and a Hunk, I'm Jordan, and I think he's got a good heart.
He is got a good heart.
He is got a good heart.
It's a good heart.
I'm Doge, and Jordan is so confident in the things he says and thinks.
Yep.
I'm Carter, and speaking on confidence, I think when Jordan decided to come back after retiring and would then win 3 more championships, I was like, this he's a demigod. Like this is the will, the grit after all of that. And I think that's why, he's just the greatest to have ever done it.
Can I actually change mine?
That person's name is Michael.
I was going to say the best
Is
thing.
that what people call him?
My favorite basketball player ever is
Jordan.
Michael.
You're going to go out and buy your Michaels? Hurry, Doge has something funnier.
I was going to change mine
Dennis
to
Rodman and Michael.
I was going to change mine to be my favorite thing about Jordan was when he hung his shoes on the telephone line and they got zapped by lightning. Then they made that kid really good at basketball.
What's that movie called? It's not called Like Jordan.
It's called
It's called Like Michael.
Like Michael.